Why do so many of us want to monetize every single waking moment in life? Really, it's because those who seem to monetize every waking moment of their life are the ones who find the success, are the ones who break through the oversaturated crowd of content creation. And then 99.9% of the time, we find viral clips and videos that are tasks or pieces of huge artworks that take ages, cut down into digestible, small, bite-sized pieces of content, hitting you with a splash of dopamine for you to move on to the next thing. But is this really a route we want to move toward as a society? Do we really want to rush past the process and just get to the goal? Do we really want to force content creators to just make art and everything as fast as they can so that we can get to the end? It's all about the journey in life. It's never about the goal or the end, because that's the end. We want more of the process, yet we cut it down so much into these tiny, digestible pieces. Why? If we create content that is quick-cut, non-stop gripping and compelling in order to keep our audience's attention, then we are simply supporting the fact that society has a quickly shortening attention span. But in reality, we just grow used to what we watch and what the world creates for us to watch. As a philosopher in today's day and age, it is not easy to ignore the algorithm, as it seemingly is an AI that controls the entire internet. All websites do, of course, have different algorithms, but largely there is one almighty AI that controls the world. But no one really knows how it works. No one truly understands how it works because the AI is rewriting itself every day. And so, again, as a philosopher, I just kind of want to guess at how that works. But honestly, this is partially a part 2 video to things like groupthink or capitalism, or most specifically, my last video on the self-fulfilling prophecy. I should start by giving a small definition of what the algorithm is, and that is something of a For You page, your home feed of the search engine, or anything of the like, in where if it isn't your own personally curated thing, it is algorithmized for your own viewing pleasure. But even when you do curate your own, like follow these people or subscribe to these people, there is still an algorithm going on as to what is on your home feed. So with all of that in mind, let's get in again. How does it all work? So first, I truly believe that the algorithm is just simply a byproduct of a society-level groupthink on what we want to watch. But what exactly is that? If you go into my groupthink video, I am talking about a 2-person groupthink. There is the audience and the industry or the algorithm or the influencers of all the people producing and then all the people watching. And so in a 2-person groupthink, what do? We try to appease the other. We try to do what the other one wants us to do. Does this always work out to the goodness of everyone? No, not actually, because you can actually drive each other toward the wrong thing in the end. Is that what we're doing right now? I don't know. And then secondly, the algorithm and the trends that seem to boost people or continue people's popularity can be seen as a direct example of the self-fulfilling prophecy. And just so you don't have to go and rewatch the last entire video I made, I want to quickly go over what Robert Merton's self-fulfilling prophecy is. From the Virginia Department of Health, A self-fulfilling prophecy is simply the physical outcome of a situation being influenced by our thinking, either positively or negatively. As an easy 5-step system, this can be seen as: you form expectations of yourself, others, or events. You express those expectations verbally or non-verbally. Others adjust their behavior and communication to match your messages. Your expectations become reality. The confirmation strengthens your belief. And then from Science Direct, again from my last video, an even simpler 3-point cycle to where we see our expectations, a new behavior, and then the prophecy is fulfilled. Cycling this with reinforcement, of course. Out there.
Full of shine and full of sparkle.
And so just imagine, in today's day and age, with the very quick cuts and edits to grasp everyone's attention, do you think Disney Pixar would have created WALL-E today? WALL-E is a hugely immaculate, high-concept, and brilliant film, but actually doesn't have a whole lot of dialogue or quick edits. It's actually incredibly slow and almost a silent film. Coming out in 2008, this was 15 years ago, back before we had a lot of different things, but especially the obsession with everyone's attention. And so, again, do you think today that WALL-E would be made at all? I don't think so. And this is what scares me about the route we're all heading toward. We're all barreling toward. We're all obsessed with each other's attention. And the fact, quote unquote fact, that we have short attention spans adds to this different world we're creating. I know most of us have seen the DVD trailer that has all of the Disney or Pixar guys sitting talking about this story where they created WALL-E, and it was apparently the same conversation in which they created Monsters Inc. and Toy Story and all of these huge franchises today. Movies that have sequels, movies that are very quick-paced, very compelling, very different than WALL-E. Very different than WALL-E. And so, do we have sequels to these stories because they have more to tell? Does WALL-E not have more to tell? Are you not curious about what happens next in WALL-E? 'Cause I am. But 15 years later, we still no WALL-E sequel. And is this because it's mostly a silent film? Probably. So.
Girls, come on! Leave the saving of the world to the men? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Take into consideration the growing amount of shorts today. We'll just use the word shorts or TikToks or Reels or whatever you want to call it. Generally something vertical aspect ratio between 6 seconds and 3 minutes, I guess. But, you know, I say 6 seconds because of Vine. Vine was the original home for all of these very short videos, to which we then move on to Musical.ly, and now everything else in the entire world supports this thing. Even Hulu is like, hey, do you want to watch a show with episodes each being 2 minutes long? And I'm like, no. Moral of the story here is that people have become more and more obsessed with short form videos. And also, the internet didn't even invent viral short form content. These have been around for ages. People have burned VHS tapes and shared them with their friends, being like, watch these clips, they're so funny. Or even little mini clips in the Shorty Short McShorts on the Disney Channel 20 years ago. But why? Why are we talking about this more and more now? Because we are all convinced we have short attention spans. Do we? Or have we just made more of this content? Has there just been a growing supply in the growing demand, and slowly but surely we have plateaued versus ever counter-existing each other, completely supply and demand goes through different roofs. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Generally, in a marketplace, the supply and demand do not plateau for a very, very, very long time. And sooner or later, I know we are all going to collectively want something different. But as a growing larger society, the majority of people will largely probably consume what is put in front of them, and what is put in front of them is what the society thinks it wants. Do you catch what I'm saying? It's a cycle of you want this because we think you want this, and then you do want it because they think you want it. It's a toxic relationship, just like waiting to be broken up with. Without doing mountains of research on this, why do we think it's common knowledge that we have a growing, shortening attention span? Or that children just straight up have a short attention span? Is it that now all the kids are grown up and we all are grown children with a short attention spans? Or maybe is it that children are the growing market of the future, and so you market toward the children, and so that they like everything, and so that it's all made for them who have short attention spans, aka so they'll like it when they grow up and then they still have short attention spans. It's this terrible cycle of why are we cutting these adult films like Marvel's superhero movies, cut for little children, if only to have them grow up and want something different. I know this point seems maybe a little out there and outside of the point, but it isn't when you think about how when kids grow up, they become the members of society. And so when you're a company, you want to advertise to the children pretty much first and foremost. And so when they grow up and make decisions, or when they ask their parents to make decisions, they are the ones influencing the household, and later growing up to be the influencers of the household. And so, in all reality, our entire capitalistic market does have its largest target audience on the future influencers of the world to their rising stock market. Like, it is a sort of out of this point, but it's not at all, because who do we not make movies for if we don't look at it as a 20 plus year growing franchise market with nostalgia and all of this beautiful things for the kids of tomorrow? Like the kids who got Star Wars when it first came out, the people making Star Wars, why can't I think of his name? George Lucas making Star Wars was not thinking,
I want to make these for the children to make more money 30 years from now.
But that's what people got when the new ones came out. And the Jar Jar Binks was all like, why do you have this written for children character in my adult movie, quote unquote? Or the cute little penguin birdie things on Luke Skywalker's planet in the new films. Like, why do we have these cute marketable plushy toys in these movies if not just to make money so freaking obviously? That's the point I'm talking about on a larger scale, when it has largely still has to do with the kids. Star Wars is just number one perfect example. And so once again, all we do is grow used to what we watch. And we generally want more of that. And unfortunately, we are all driven by the science within our heads, and short form content gives us so much dopamine, and it's quite literally addictive. So, what do we do about this? Just kind of better understand it and maybe direct the algorithm a different direction, because that's the fruit of the loom here. That's the moral of the story, is we are the algorithm. Drop the mic. And so to paint you a picture here of the self-fulfilling prophecy, the algorithm, and our attention span, you form expectations of yourself, others, or events. The entertainment industry and independent creators alike expects its audience to have short attention spans. You express those expectations verbally or non-verbally. The industry creates content to match these expectations. Others adjust their behavior and communication to match your messages. More of the entertainment industry and more independent creators take note that quicker cuts is better for audience retention and do the same. Your expectations become a reality. Society's attention span as a whole seemingly does shorten because this is what we are given. The confirmation strengthens your belief. Society grows to expect fast and quick cut edits, and this becomes the industry norm in editing to the audience and gaining the most audience retention. Really, it's all one big circle. They think we want this. They do it and we like it. Everyone else follows suit. They think we love it. Then they think they do it for us and not because of just their doing. Truly, the algorithm pushes what we think we want, but what we think we want is just what the algorithm tells us what we want. It's one big cycle of never actually knowing what we want, and the algorithm thinks we want what the rest of society wants, when the rest of society is being fed what is made for children to grow up and be nostalgic for 30 years in the future. That isn't all to mention the nostalgia of right now, the marketing of right now, or just buying things to put in a closet to sell them for the nostalgia of 30 years from now. The algorithm truly is a multifaceted thing of YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, but also movies, TV shows, and literally every single thing. The algorithm controls the world, the entire world. Long story short, what I'm talking about is the algorithm of all capitalism ever. We think this, so we do this. Society likes it, and so we continue it. But would society want something else? If something else was the option? Yes. Yes, they would. But do they know that something else is the option when nothing else is given to them as an option? No. No, they don't. If we, as a society, were to have a say or fight in any of this, it is to understand that we, as the consumers, do control what the producers create. If we, as a society, chose to stop watching Marvel movies, they'd stop making Marvel movies. If we chose, as a society, to not want something, the producers, whoever it may be, wouldn't waste their time and money convincing you otherwise. The real freaking awfulness of the short form content is that it feeds us the most amount of dopamine in the shortest amount of time, but also is that with every little scroll and not having like a 90-minute movie to sit down and watch we get advertisements, and between every 1, 2, or 5 posts, we get advertisements, sponsored posts of other people's posts you don't follow, or of the like. And so the shorter the form of the content, the more advertisements that we can get out into the world. And so again, it all comes down to capitalism. Every single thing. Every single thing. So how does the algorithm work? It works by getting us to be online as much as we possibly can, or in stores, or in the anything, in where the producers are able to shove their content in front of you, and the advertisers can also make money on the sidelines. So it's all money. Everything. Every single thing. If you want to get further it up in the search engine, and if you're watching this video on how the algorithm works so that you can better your chances on getting found online, I'll tell you this: be in the trends, because that is what is given to the people, the things they think they like. The trendy things, the pop culture, the things that are popular. That's what's being given to everyone. It's the things that are already popular. If you want to break through the barrier there, all the power to you. And as I've said on this channel 1,000 times, if it's not pop culture, it's referential to it. And if it's not either of those two things, you're winning the freaking lottery of the algorithm. Because it's just trying to find something new that might be popular for people to stay online longer. So that's pretty much all I have written here. We're all just living the self-fulfilling prophecy. We're all in a 2-person cult, us versus the rest of the world of consumers and producers, and we just have to understand that the consumers are the larger half. And if we want something different, we just all have to not follow suit. All right, we gotta not be compliant. We gotta not say, oh, everyone's going to watch this movie, I guess I'll have to subscribe to Showtime in order to watch it. You know what movie I'm talking about. Because it's just all more money to the big guy for something that might give you some happiness, or it might just let you talk about pop culture, which gives you happiness. I don't know. It's all so complicated. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear anything you might have to say as to, do you think WALL-E would be made today? Or do you think that there will ever be a WALL-E sequel? If the attention span of today is so short, I don't know. Let me know. If you've made it all the way to the end of this video, know that I super duper appreciate it. You are one of the very, very few people that do. So know that you have a very long, healthy attention span, and you weren't clicking on the video for 30 seconds. So with that, I will bid you adieu, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. If you have any ideas for what we can talk about next time, I would love to hear them. Really, I'm doing this entire video based on one single comment on my last one, which was like, yes, a part 2 would be dope. So thank you so much for writing that. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, terrible at saying goodbyes, so I'm just gonna do it. Just gonna cut it dry. Alright, I love you. Bye. Nah, that was bad, right? I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, time, some moment of your day, whatever. Have a good one. Bye. I love you. Bye.
One of these days.